And to react to the elections, I'm joined by Michael Massourakis. He's the chief economist at Alpha Bank here in Greece. Thanks for joining me this morning.
Good morning.
Is this just Greek voters really sticking two fingers up, if you like, at the bailout agreement?
Well, they have expressed their discontent, definitely. This is a protest vote. We have seen people, voters, living in droves for the, let's say, radical left and the radical right. But this is something that we haven't seen in the past 30 years. Usually the two mainstream parties would poll something like 70% together of the vote. Today we are seeing a situation where they have polled only 33%. So we are in the beginning of a transition period, I think, into something new.
This transition period, though, is a little bit uncertain. A lot of people now think we might have to have fresh elections. Who's to say that won't give the same result? Or perhaps parties which are against the bailout will have the Prime Minister?
I understand it's a very uncertain situation. On the other hand, Greek people consistently have been saying that with a 77% margin, that Greece has to stay in the Eurozone at all costs. So I think after having expressed their discontent, obviously they will come to terms with the fact that remaining in the Eurozone implies certain kind of behavior, and probably this will help both the political parties and the people, but also the Eurozone authorities, if you like, the other Eurozone members, to come to terms with something different as a prescription for stability and growth in Greece.
And do you think perhaps the election of François Hollande over in France as president, perhaps things will now turn to focus on growth? Perhaps Greece will be allowed to take its pedal off the austerity a little bit?
Probably it will be an easier situation in terms of the pace of adjustment than if Sarkozy had remained in power. But this does not mean that a lot of the structural measures that the Greek government has already agreed in the second memorandum in February are for the betterment of the country. And I think that every government that is coming along will have to deal with how to schedule these reforms and implement them.
So in terms
it's not a question of not implementing these reforms or not going through the fiscal adjustment process.
So, in your view, no matter what happens, even if there's fresh elections, Greece will stick with the bailout program, it won't waver?
I think all the forces having been used in a centrifugal way, now we're going to see the opposite. All parties concerned coming together into a new type of stability governance for Greece.
Now, Greeks are enduring their fifth consecutive year of recession, 1 in 5 people out of work, but we are seeing a fiscal surplus, a primary surplus, excuse me. So after debts, interest is repaid, Greece is spending less money than it gets in. So are we already seeing signs of Greece turning the corner?
Well, I mean, 3/4 of the measures in the memorandum have already been implemented, and the other fourth of them is in the process of being implemented. So I think we have gone a long way to turn back at this point in time. And given the fact that, mainstream Greeks want to stay, as I said, with a 77% margin in the euro at all costs, this to me means that people will reconsider after having vented their protest about what has happened in the last 2.5 years in Greece.
Okay, so perhaps we'll see a different picture if we get fresh elections.
I hope so.
Okay, Michael Massourakis, chief economist at Alpha Bank here in Greece.